Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode, we're reviewing Survivor Series 2023. An eventful night, a lot happened, some huge returns. We're going to talk about it here. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, I do rate everything on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Let's jump right into it with the first match of the night, the Women's War Game match. We have Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Shotzi going up against Damage Control, Io Sky, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Bayley. This is probably my favorite match of the night. I think the women went out and absolutely destroyed it here. This was athletic, this was violent. The stuff that Shotzi was doing in this match should propel her into the higher echelon. Io Sky as well, which obviously she's already there, she's a champion. Charlotte proving that she's one of the most athletic women in all of wrestling. This was just amazing from the beginning to the end. I absolutely love this match, and I kind of see where they're going with this, with what they've been doing on TV and with this now. Came down to Becky Lynch pinning Bayley. Obviously, Bayley is kind of being pushed out of Damage Control. It kind of seems that way. I do wonder if maybe they're angling for sometime in the near future a Horsewomen versus Damage Control match with Bayley joining Becky and Charlotte, and maybe Sasha returning to go up against Asuka, Kairi Sane, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. I thought this was a really fun match. I really enjoyed this. I'm giving this a 5. Then we were treated to a Ruffles backstage segment where we had Alpha Academy, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and Pretty Deadly all pretty much arguing about Ruffles. They throw the bag, and we get the big surprise of the night, the big return that nobody expected, R-Truth. And yes, I know I'm playing it up a little bit, but God, it's so cool to see R-Truth again. He's one of those guys that doesn't really get all the flowers he deserves. Yes, for the most part, he's a comedy wrestler, but for 2 decades, he's been a really good wrestler and a really good comedy wrestler. I would say, at this point, I would say he's the best comedy wrestler there's ever been. And the guy looks the same as he did way back when he was K-Quick or even Ron Killings. I mean, he looks amazing. So happy to see R-Truth back because I think he's going to bring that R-Truth flavor into the WWE, make it a more interesting show with everything that he does. Cool little segment. That's followed up with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso talking about Randy Orton and Randy not being there and maybe it being Jay's fault because obviously reasons. I've mentioned this on other reviews, but I do like the fact that WWE is now paying more attention to details, not treating us like we're dumb and we forgot what happened the last time Randy was there, which last time Randy got injured by the Bloodline, which at that point had Jay in it. I love that they're keeping with that. I love the fact that they're not ignoring that like a lot of times we see in wrestling. Going from that, we go right into our next match. The Miz challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. This match was a lot more competitive and, dare I say, better than I was going to give it credit for. I think there has to come a point where we start giving Miz some credit, and trust me, I'm there. I've never really been a fan of Miz. I find him kind of irritating at times, but I also think that's part of what he's supposed to be. And he does step up when he's put in these situations, whether it be against John Cena, whether it be against Gunther here. When he's given these opportunities, he does shine, and he does put on great matches. This is another really fun match. Obviously, Gunther picks up the win here. I'm giving this one a 4. That's followed up with a fresh match just changed last night on SmackDown, or last night at the time of this recording. We get Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar. I want to say this match was kind of surprising in a way because I didn't expect it to be Santos winning without cheating or without help. There were rumors that Carrillo and Garza were going to come up and join Santos on his side of the LWO, basically have an LWO Wolfpack, LWO Black and White situation. But Santos won this clean, which I was a little bit surprised with. Maybe they're telling a more nuanced story. Maybe Ray really did hold back Santos in a way. I really like this match. Again, I thought it was really good. I'm giving this one a 4. Next up, we get another product placement spot. We see a commercial for Slim Jims with LA Knight, followed with the Slim Jims car coming down, I guess the rampway into the back. The last time we saw it, I thought they gave the Slim Jims car to LA Knight to keep, but obviously it wasn't him because this time it was a New Day. And I love seeing the New Day. New Day is one of my favorite things in the history of wrestling. They just always put a smile on my face. They were awesome here. They're perfect for these roles, perfect ambassadors for the company, perfect people to do these pitches and not make it feel like a commercial. Really cool little segment. I liked it a whole lot here. That's followed up with our Raw Women's Championship match. We get Rhea Ripley defending against Zoe Starks. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. And even Michael Cole said it on commentary. Rhea Ripley is the absolute definition of what a star is. She has charisma. She has unmatched likability. Even as the heel, the crowd just loves her. Rhea Ripley to me feels like Stone Cold Steve Austin when he was still heel but getting all of the fans to love him before the double switch with Brett, mixed with Chyna, because she's got a lot of Chyna in her. And a lot of that is because of how dominant she is. She is absolutely the biggest star that they have. The only thing stopping her from being a star on the level of Roman Reigns or The Rock is if she gets called away to Hollywood, because I could easily see her doing action movies. This is a really fun match. Zoe Starks held her own here, and I think Zoe Starks is going to be a main eventer up there in her own time. She has a lot going for her too. I really like her. Alas, she went up against probably the most impressive wrestler the WWE has. Rhea picks up the win here. I'm giving this match a 4. Then we get to our final match of the evening. We get Team Judgment Day, J.D. McDonough, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and Drew McIntyre, which I really like the stare down between McIntyre and Priest before the match. They're going up against Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and Seth Rollins. Their partner doesn't come out to start the match, and they milk it. Basically, the whole match, they wrestle. Judgment Day has the upper hand. We get down to the last entrant, which should be Randy Orton. There's a brief pause where Rhea Ripley comes running down to the ring to maybe cash in the briefcase because Seth Rollins was just put through a table. As she's trying to cash it in with Ref Jess, we start to hear the familiar music of Randy Orton. We hear the voices in our heads, and out he came. And Randy looked like $1,000,000. He looks like he put on about 5 to 10 pounds of just solid muscle. He looked great. And I hope his back surgery went well and he can actually be the Randy Orton that we're used to. He came in, obviously, Randy, even the odds. They teased a little bit where him and Jey Uso stared off at each other. He even said something to him to the effect of "not tonight." We see them get the win where J.D. McDonough gets thrown off the top of the cage into an RKO, which looked fantastic. Kudos to JD for taking that spot. Then we get Damian Priest eating a crossroads, which of course, because Cody Rhodes is the guy, this makes a whole lot of sense, especially if they're still going forward with Cody finishing the story at WrestleMania 40. Team Cody wins. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and Seth Rollins. I thought this was a really fun match, really exciting. I'm giving it a 5 again. I think the 2 War Games matches lived up to their potential. I think the women's match was a little bit better, but this one was just as good. Then we start to go off the air. We even get the little copyright thing, the end of the show thing that usually turns you off. And we get what's obviously now a classic Triple H trope. He did it with the DIY turn, where Ciampa turned on Gargano back in NXT. We're going off the air. We hear the music. We've had 2 big returns. Now we get to the 3rd, which may be the biggest, one of the most shocking, and one of the probably most anticipated returns in the history of WWE. We hear the music. We hear, "Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality." And we get CM Punk coming out. All through the night there had been CM Punk chants, and it felt like they muted him a bit on the show, which I think was a great look because it kind of squashed expectations a bit. And the way that they did Randy Orton and had him come out like he did also helped make it seem like CM Punk wasn't going to happen, and they were doing everything they could to get the fans not to be mad at him if CM Punk didn't show up. However, they threw us a swerve, and I'm not talking Strickland. I'm talking about the best in the world, CM Punk, and obviously I had to throw on the shirt for this. it's going to be the thumbnail because obviously that's going to get me the most clicks. Everybody's going to want to see about it. Just an amazing ending to what I think was a really good Survivor Series. The WWE under Triple H, under TKO, has been really good. I mean, they are on such an upswing. Adding a guy like CM Punk into the mix, thinking of where he could go. Is he going to highlight maybe night one of WrestleMania against Seth Rollins? Be the guy that takes a belt, the Intercontinental Championship off of Gunther. Obviously, the tease with Nakamura. Are we going to see a CM Punk Nakamura match, which I would be all in for? CM Punk and Shinsuke Nakamura are both in my top 10 of wrestlers all time as far as personal favorites. Are we going to see some of the issues that we had in AEW with CM Punk arise? Is he going to have issues with people backstage? I don't think there will be, because I think, and this is not a knock on AEW, I don't think the structure of WWE backstage will lend itself to him having the same issues. I think there'll be one guy that he answers to, and that's Triple H, maybe TKO. Maybe he has some role in developing younger talent like he wanted to do in AEW, but I don't see there being the back and forth pettiness that there was in AEW, and I'm not blaming anybody in there. I just think it's a different environment. AEW seems to have more of a loose backstage where everybody gets a little bit of a say, whereas WWE, for years we knew it was Vince, now we know it's Triple H that has final say. I hope he finishes his career out and has no issues and proves that he's CM Punk, the guy that we all love to watch. I mean, even if you look at his last AEW match against Samoa Joe, that was just a fantastic match. If you look at the stuff he was doing on Collision, it was great. I thought he made the show so much better. I wish it would have worked out in AEW. I'm glad that he decided to come back to WWE, because I think the wrestling world with CM Punk in it is better than the wrestling world without CM Punk in it. With all that being said, I'm going to give the show a 5. The R-Truth surprise, yes, I'm putting it up there as one of my big highlights. The Randy Orton comeback, which we knew was coming. The CM Punk surprise, even though a lot of people thought it was coming, it was really great. The 2 War Games matches were amazing. All the other matches, Rhea Ripley, God, I can't say enough about how much she has put herself in the forefront of stars in the WWE. I can't wait for the day that her and Jade Cargill wrestle each other, because to me, that is the 2 most mainstream stars that they have on the roster. I'm going to give the whole show a 5. I thought it was really amazing. Everything from top to bottom was great. All of their premium live events this year have been great. WWE is firing on every cylinder, plus some that we didn't even know they had. This was a great show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. With that being said, let's smash the like button, share the video, subscribe if you haven't. If you see where it says join, that's how you become a channel member. Becoming a channel member would definitely help me out. If you made it here to the end, let me know who your favorite of the 3 returns was. Was it CM Punk? Was it Randy Orton? Was it R-Truth? Let me know down here in the comments. With that all being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been my review of Survivor Series.